Good morning, everyone. It's just coming up to 10:43 in the morning here in Les Sables d'Olonne, and I thought I'd give you a quick update on the tracker and let you know the challenges that Istvan has heading towards Les Sables d'Olonne. But first, I'll talk about the challenges of Tapio down here in the South Atlantic. Not having much fun. Here's the coast. He's north of Rio de Janeiro now, coming up to the 20th parallel of latitude here, and so we'll just push that up and you can see what he's going through. It's quite amazing. At the moment he's doing 2.9 knots. He's in the middle of this trough. This position was at hang on, get it up here. Come on, what's going on here? This position was at 9 o'clock local time, so it's about an hour and a half old, and yeah, not a lot of wind there in the hole, and when it finally gets through it, he's got nothing but headwinds, so quite interesting and not much luck for Tapio at all. Anyway, he's happy enough. There's no storms, there's light winds, easy sea. When he gets there, that's not too bad because it's coming around from the west-northwest, and he'll be able to straighten up and go north, and that looks like a good breeze. So finally, for a little bit, it looks like he'll be able to start heading north, but then it starts to die off, and it's starting to head him a little bit, but at least it's okay, you know, like it looks reasonable. If we come back here, you can see though pretty quickly it's going to actually start to head him again in slow progress, but he'll go out on port tack and start heading up here out towards Suhaili, but Suhaili will take off because this position goes back to the 16th, so it was actually 4 days ago. In reality, he's right up the top somewhere off the screen. Anyway, still moving forward. It's just headwinds, but he's still, yeah, you know, that'll be okay. He'll head out on port, as I say. And if we go back and look at he's only 20 degrees from the equator. He is actually making progress. Here's the equator on the top of the screen now, and so he's actually into this area that would normally be the southeast trades, but they're not there. And yeah, he's got a battle, so nothing exciting for Tapio for the next 3-4 days or so. Anyway, not much better for poor old Istvan up here. He's got an area of now pretty stable light winds, nothing happening at all, and in fact he's going the wrong way right now with very little wind. He's currently making 0.8 of a knot and heading out to the northwest, heading out in this direction, yet here's the finish line over there, so it's only really close. He's 75 miles away, so that's just the starburst. If he used his motor, he's got enough fuel to get in, but he can't use it within 250 miles of the finish, so he's just got to plod along. And there's a few issues rounding out here. He's actually getting low on water. He's only down to 1 litre of water, and he's still potentially got a couple of days to go. He's now also starting to see the effects of the oil slick. He's passed a couple of oil patches now, and light slicks on the water from the ship that was disabled and finally sunk. It caught fire and sunk. Container vessel. There's some containers out here as well, so we're mindful of that. Normally he cleans his teeth in salt water, so we reminded him this morning on the phone call not to use the salt water to clean his teeth, and that means he can't use the emergency desalinator either, because if he does, he'll ruin the desalinator, and he can't use it in any water that has an oil slick on it. So that's shaping up to be interesting. Apart from that, he says it's absolutely beautiful out there. He's got a beautiful full moon and stars, and the sea's flat and so on, so he's pretty much having a lovely time, but totally frustrated with nothing to go anywhere. You can see now this is the real-time weather here. There's no wind at all, and the bad news, even though he's only 75 miles out, he's going nowhere. If I click through this slowly, so that's 8, 9 o'clock tonight, he's got the lightest of northerly breezes. He could sail with that. He could sail off, and he will, probably only making 2 or 3 knots max. And then it slowly increases, but only to about, say, 12 knots of wind, and it swings around, so it's coming direct from Les Sables d'Olonne, and then this is overnight, so 5 o'clock in the morning, it goes calm again. There's nothing. There's very little wind. So with that light headwind, I'd say he's probably by midday tomorrow, he's only made maybe about 20 miles progress, 25 miles. He'll be about 50 miles away. And then it's very light headwinds, and then it goes off to no wind. So tomorrow's going to be a day of frustrations as well, and I'd expect to see him then. He's going to have hard work to keep tacking on this. But that's 11 o'clock in the morning, or midday on the 22nd, on Friday. And I'm not, to be quite honest, I've got no idea where he might be. There's so many variables here, and even this forecast on the tracker is hard to predict, because when there's light winds, it's harder to predict the direction and all that. The forecast modelling from the computer is not good, so it could be anything. But let's hope he's there sometime around in the morning on Friday, and we'll keep an eye on that. And we are mindful. I mean, we're not sure. They're expecting the oil slicks to be a bit heavier once he gets further towards the finish line, and we don't want to have him sitting out there in oil slicks if it's really bad. There's a lot of uncertainty on that. The oil, if we come back to the coast here, it actually arrived down here along the coast on the weekend on Saturday, and there's more and more of it heading in. So there's alerts all over. People are saying, the official bulletins are saying, don't get involved with the water. Be alert, be aware that there's this sort of chemicals coming, not just the oil slick, because there was a lot of dangerous chemicals on the ship as well. So we'll make some decisions on that later on. But when there's no wind and just lolling around stuff on the surface, we got to make some decisions on that as well. So come what may, I'm sure he'll be in on Friday morning. So all very frustrating for Istvan. There's a sound cloud coming up shortly. Haven't listened to that. There's a few laughs there, and he'll tell you what's going on. He managed to speak to Eva. That's another tradition. Just before they get in, we've let all the other entrants talk to their spouse just before they get in, just to get them excited. But unfortunately, he's excited, but he's got nowhere to go, and he can't get here anyway. Never mind. So we'll keep you updated. Thanks, and we're all looking forward to seeing him.